People might get mad at me for this. I'm hoping he gets another term.
Well, honestly,
because if he don't,
I think we're getting set up here. I think we're, as I've aged, I've become kind of more of a conspiracy theorist. I'm like, I go on the deep end sometimes.
Right.
I gotta go on the way deep end on sometimes. But it just feels like this mail-in voting thing is just another way to create division and uncertainty. And, they're calling it the red mirage. Have you heard that term?
Well, somebody told me that I better be riding the red train this year. And I've never had somebody try to tell me as a grown man how I should vote. But he really meant it when he told me that.
Well, no, I mean, you were told that you weren't black if you didn't vote Biden.
That's true.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that.
At that point in the conversation.
Oh, man, let me write this down.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
In that point in the conversation, is your vote back up for grabs, or do a lot of people just say, well, he's joking? Like, what? I mean, just tell me what you thought. Like, I'm going to justify that. The guy was clearly joking.
Right.
Like, or do you be like, okay, that is ridiculous. And now, I might still vote for him, but now he's got to earn it. Now he's got to get it.
Right. I think that when he did that, it was three things. Historically, the Democratic Party has always tried to pull for the minority vote, right? They poll, they go across the country.
For 50 years, they've gotten it.
All the neighborhoods, kissing babies, right? But do they really care?
No.
Right? No. Right?
And the Republicans didn't care because they didn't think they could get it.
They didn't think they could get it, right? But now they see a shift, right?
All these black faces showing up as conservative representatives.
Right. I don't really poll for either side, right? One thing I do know that as a veteran, I know that a Republican Party is always going to make space for vets and armed forces. It's just historically what they do, right? Which makes me feel good, right?
Yeah.
I think that when he said that, the interview was with somebody that he was trying to be cool with, right? He was trying to add some vernacular to the interview, right? And he said something that he might have thought that he didn't filter, right? And he thought it would go over well and be cool. Like, hey, speaking to a black man, you ain't black if you don't vote for me. Pound it. It didn't go over like that, right? Yeah. A lot of people didn't see it like that.
Yeah.
And then, too, what is really going on with that? Because if you remember, Donnie kind of said the same thing. Hey, what do you have to lose?
Now, that's not the same, though.
It's not the same, but...
So it's like, hey, give me a shot at this thing with you guys,
right,
and I'm going to come through.
But are we...
That's how I took it anyway.
He made it seem like we were... street slugs, like, what do you have to lose? Everything, your schools, you're this.
That's
you're
interesting
that.
perspective.
All right,
yeah.
And then at a Trump rally right after that, veterans are held in a high regard, right? I love that about this country, right? It didn't always used to be that way.
Yeah.
When the men came home from Vietnam,
yeah.
All right, now, fast forward to when Trump first got elected, he was doing his rallies. There was a black woman that went to one of his rallies that was anti what he had going on. I saw so many vets, older vets, punched, slapped, pulled her. They hit on her on national TV.
Wow.
And let's take the fact away that she's a black woman. She's a woman. Not one man in there started knocking people out because they were putting their hands on her as a woman. They were all, it was a trickle effect, a domino effect. You hit her, and I see, oh, what's going on? Oh, she's here with this thing. I hit her. You hit her. 10 people hit her, maybe more, and they removed her. That went over without a blip, right? How? That's what told me the climate was changing. When something like that can happen on national TV, there's no outrage. Like I said, let's take away the fact she's a black woman. A woman was getting hit, slapped, pulled, yelled at in her face by men, and no man in that whole room stood up and said, this is wrong. We got a problem.
Yeah.
That's when I knew.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you're referring to. I don't recall that.
We can pull it up.
Yeah.
But I knew then.
I don't doubt.
I knew then that we were dealing with a whole different animal here, right? And the fact, and he was even yelling, get her out of here. Back in the day, they would have been pulled out in the street and...
Yeah, I do remember him saying that.
Yeah.
The
rhetoric, if you listen, you know what he's talking about. My bad. I'm not trying to make that a big point here. I'm just trying to say that when I see stuff like that, the scary part is, to him, this is a lifetime achievement. To the people that believe in him, this is their livelihood, right?
Yeah.
And they are willing to express that as much as they want to in any way. And please forgive me, I'm not saying that if you voted for Trump or if you're a Trump supporter that you're a bad person.
Dude, I was never Trump.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. Scott,
Yeah.
you like him. I'm not.
Honestly,
I'm not.
As far as like a policy,
Right.
like the policies that he has, that he's enacted, that he's done, I'm not necessarily still thrilled about how he's talked about women and the moral compass of the guy.
Right.
You know, like he's not a presidential type of figure. You know, like Obama was a presidential type of figure. He just didn't do much.
Right.
You know?
And I agree with that.
Yeah.
A lot of people might get upset with me and say, "Oh, well, this happened." As a soldier, when Obama got elected, I was deployed. You know what happened in the DFAC when they put his picture up on the screens as we were eating? Soldiers dumped their trays,
Wow.
got up and left.
Wow.
Full plates full of food. We have a saying on the wall: "Take all you want, eat all you take." We don't waste food. But they were so disgusted at the image that they saw of who their commander-in-chief was. No other president's been disrespected as much as him as a commander-in-chief. I watched soldiers that wore the same uniform as I did get up and leave the DFAC. Now, that's their personal. I can't say nothing about that, right? But if you look at it, can we at least give credit where credit's due? I said I don't hate the man. I just said I think that he doesn't realize he has formed this propaganda. He has formed this ideology that people really have taken to heart.
Yeah.
And I think he needs to realize he has a big, what's the word I'm looking for? Influence on how people think and what they're doing.
There's no doubt about it.
I made a joke the other day. I said, if he came on TV and he said for the next 24 hours, there's a purge, and I'm allowing it, that's far-fetched, I know. You think people wouldn't do it?
People would definitely do it.
They would definitely do it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be smart.
Yeah.
But they would do it.
Yeah.
And that's what's so scary, that people follow and they believe in him that much. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I think if any president said that, though, they'd probably get some influence on like people doing it.
Right.
You know.
But and that's far fetched. It's only because I watched that movie the other day.
Right.
And but I'm just saying that and like I said, let me go on the record and say, I really feel that he did not believe that he could do it. I think he did it to show us something. And I hope that at the end of all this, he's going to look back and say, we got a lot of work to do, y'all. Y'all got me in there.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
The talking point.
There's that video. I'm not going to play it because it's like, kind of sad, but just what I'm seeing here is pretty sad that you see like at least two people just standing there, both males, holding their phone, just recording.
They're
and
recording?
Not
Those burger hats, that's a Vietnam era, Korean War era veteran. Yeah. As she goes back through the crowd because they're telling her to leave, more men pull on her and slap her, okay, just because she was at that rally and she was, protesting against.
Back in 2016?
This was early on. This was early on.
March 2016.
But this set the climate for what I was seeing. Yeah. And I'd never seen, when else have you seen a presidential rally where that's happened?
Yeah.
Right? That showed me right there that he was awakening something in people.
It's funny, though, how many haters he got at the rallies, because you don't usually see that. You don't see the haters show up at the opposing candidates' rallies in the crowd. They might be outside, but you don't see them actually infiltrating somebody they don't support to try to cause chaos.
Right.
Right. So, like, I see both spectrums. There's nothing right about physical assault at all on anybody, any sex, at any time.
And that was my post the other day.
Yeah.
No matter what your job status is, you're my boss or subordinate or nothing, nobody should put their hands on anybody. That's not right. Yeah. And I'm not pulling this up to say that this trumps everything that's been going on. Trump, right? Yeah. I'm saying that
even when you're not trying to branding, you're
I'm branding him, right? The guy's a genius. I will say that. And he makes me laugh.
He's savage in some ways.
He is savage. He was signing his autograph and he was saying, that's 10 grand on eBay. It's 10 grand. I cried laughing. Like, the dude, you know what I'm saying? And I know I'm contradicting myself, but what I'm saying is, I don't think he fully realizes what you know, the following that he has, right? It's their stands,
Yeah.
almost. That video right there was from a while ago, but when I watched that video, it let me know that the climate was changing.
Yeah.
Not for Mother Earth, but I'm talking about how people felt about things. And it's almost like he took people from being keyboard gangsters to real life confrontational people that go against, you know, if you go against what he's got, people will confront you about that.
You know, I don't ever want to ever fall down an echo chamber. You know, I want to be a free thinker. I want to hear both sides of the story.
Right.
I want to collect facts and make my own decision on based on critical thinking and my gut. I mean, my gut's led me to great places.
Mine,
you know,
and when I ignored it, it didn't.
Exactly.
And you should always think that way, right?
Yeah.
And back to what you were saying about certain decisions and things that I made. When you ignore your gut on certain things, you probably, you know what I'm saying? I didn't get on here and bash the kid that went to that rally. I just said that at his age,
yeah. Why is he taking part in war games?
The responsibility he does not know.
Yeah.
He didn't go there that night. He went there in hopes like, man, I got this old cool AR, man. I'm gonna go out here and help. Do you think he ever thought for 1 second that he would have to actually use it?
Right.
And now his life went from being a normal 17-year-old kid that's got a fascination for guns, because who doesn't, to now all these things have happened in your life because the placement and access you had to certain things, right?
Right.
And he's walking around with it. I'm not making this a black-white thing. I'm making this a moral thing. The young man shouldn't have been there, right? And most people might say, well, yeah, he had the right to be there, right? Well, I'm not going to get into the legalities, but I know now if you could talk to him in this room, he would tell you he wish he wouldn't have been there.
Because he's behind bars.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
He's fighting for his life.
Right, and he could have watched that from home.
And
I'm not saying the protesters or anybody that was there that reached for his weapon or they tried to do anything. Those people they're playing a dangerous game too. Play dumb games, win stupid prizes.
Yeah.
But they put themselves into a position by trying to grab a firearm that now he feels like he needs to react, and now people aren't here anymore. Yeah. He didn't want to shoot nobody. And some people might get mad at me and say that he went there with the intent to hunt or to do certain things because of this vigilante spirit that's going on.
Yeah.
Even if he did, he wasn't prepared for what's happened now.
Yeah. And when people attacked him, what could he do? You know, like they were coming after the things that he had.
The things that he had, because they knew now that, oh, you're not, we see what side you're on, right? But can we be honest for a second? I'm not going to say that.
Go ahead.
I'm not going to say that. Yeah. As a young man of color, 17 years old with an AR, how long would he been able to walk around out there without some type of police interaction? Well, and that's what I mean by sensitivity training.
Yeah.
I think that...
Well, the police were able to control, like, if he was in the group that was doing the rioting that he was inevitably coming for...
Right.
If he was the BLM people or Antifa people, they probably were. Some of them probably were strapped.
Right.
You know, probably did have the same.
And they did.
materials.
They did have guns because the one guy did pull a gun that lost his arm. Right. I think that, and I want to say this. I think that across this country, if you have, and I see more black families doing the right thing by doing weapons training. Yeah. Obtaining firearms legally and taking the classes to be able to use them in a responsible way. I think that puts a lot of fear in people because people still have the mindset that as a black man that I shouldn't have a firearm because I'm already dangerous without it. That's what they think. Yeah. Without a gun, I may be the most dangerous person in the room without a gun. Yeah. Multiply that by me having one, they feel like you shouldn't have one.
Right.
I'm not saying everybody.
Honestly, dude, the people that want guns, go get them. The people that don't
fool with them.
Yeah.
Right? I feel like there's a mentality that they should not have them, or if they do have them, they're irresponsible. Why is that?
That's weird.
How do you not know the years in the military this guy had? Or maybe he's been shooting since he was 12 and he has perfect basic rifle marksmanship and weapon safety and classes and training. Yeah. How do you know that? Let's get away from that, right? Because history note, the NRA didn't stop supporting most men and women of color with their firearms until the Panthers started open carry.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I remember hearing reading some article about that.
Because now you have people that already may put you on edge, and now they have firearms, right? Mm-hmm. And now they have them legally, so you're thinking like, why do they even have them? What's going on here? It's a power thing, like you talked about, right? I don't want somebody out maximizing the power or being a threat or something like that. I just don't understand that aspect of it, but I digress.